switching to the Damascus experience in 1, 2.
Before we begin the interview, we do just take us in a few minutes, walk us through that your Christian journey on how you encountered the man Jesus Christ.
Well, I think that, it started for me as a family routine, I would call it, because daddy, mommy were, church goers, if you will, and so every Sunday there's this tradition of going to church, and I grew up knowing that every Sunday we go to church. But then, of course, I hadn't built any relationship with this Jesus, this God, and so as I grew up, I think I was in my late teens, when I had an encounter during a service I remember very well, it was a service, sort of a convention or something at Osu Presby.
Yeah.
And I was then going through some migraine issues. I remember way back in school, it used to come, and then it prevents me from learning, because it's so painful, it's excruciating pain in the head. Medications were not working. Even the medication that I was taking, I wasn't supposed to take because of my blood group and all that, so it was rather worsening the case. But of course that was knowledge that we didn't have then, and so during that service, it was like, I don't know, the guy who called for us to place our hands wherever the pain was, and this thing, I just felt that just believe, just believe, and just place your hand there, believing that it would go, and it was like magic. Since that day till now, I've never experienced that before.
Are you serious?
It just went off like that. I mean, it was an issue.
Just that exercise of faith.
Yeah, it just worked, and sometimes we feel that we have to, moon our faces, excuse me to say, frown, scream on top of our voice, and everybody just believe in your heart, and it worked for me. And that same evening I encountered Christ, and that was when I went for an altar call, and that's where that relationship began for me. In a nutshell, that was it.
Have you regretted ever doing this?
Of course not.
Of course not. Of course not.
Of course not.
So,
thank you.
Adjetey Annan, is that your full name? Do you have any?
That's right, Adjetey Annan. The other one is on paper, but it's not pronounced.
What's that name? I beg, try give us.
Boys, good thing.
Are you Erasmus or Bartholomew?
Charlie, one of those names.
You can't pronounce it on air. Really?
Oh, social media will change my name.
I guess it doesn't sound good there. It doesn't sound good. But throughout this experience, and growing up, can you share with us, whilst we move on, an instance where, after your healing, an instant in your career where you actually faced Christ, you came very close to him, and you noticed, this is the hand of God, this is not my making, this is the hand of God, that he came so real and so close for you?
Yeah, there have been a number of instances. Even the birth of my son was one, but I think that what I can easily remember was the day when I was going to work. I used to work with a manufacturing company in Bonn, and I remember when McCarthy healed, and so it was a long stretch, and there was when the N1 wasn't in then.
Okay.
It was still the one way,
Yeah.
and so when I hit the motorway, it's fire, speed, because I need to get to work early and all that. But that day, I pray. Normally it's a busy rush, sometimes I don't even have time to do my quiet time, and I do it during the day. But that morning I just said, look, I just felt the edge of just putting my day, into God's hands and taking me through the day, and whatever impediments there are, He should reveal to me so that I can overcome them, or surmount them. And then on the way, just before I got in the motorway, I heard a flap. It's like the flap of a wing. You know, I thought, you know, so I was using the clutch too. It wasn't an automatic car, and so I was kind of finding, is there a bed in the car? You know,
in the car.
I thought I've heard the flap
You
of a
heard
wing.
that?
Yeah, but it was to my left side, and so to where the clutch was. So I kind of felt like maybe there was a bed in the car. But just then my ears picked up a sound to the right side.
Yeah. Wow.
I said, what? Let me park the car. So I parked the car, and when I went to check the tire, all the bolts had come out. It was left with, I mean, they had unscrewed, and one had gone off itself, and then the other three were just coming off.
What?
If I'd hit the motorway, you never know. And it was just, I was so sober. I was just calm, because this was like, then I tried to relate to what this flapping of the wing was. I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, it drew my attention to that noise, and that led me to check what it was with the tires, and that was it. And that saved me. I didn't know how they came off, or they losing. Maybe the organizer didn't fix it well the last time I had a puncture, or I have no clue.
This was not normal.
It wasn't normal. I've never experienced anything like that, you know. It shook me. It shook me. And even though I got to work late than the time, I thought that, you know, being alive was a special gift, and I was just thankful. And that for me was another close encounter that I had.
Wow, praise to God, praise to God. And God comes so real for you guys like this, because you see, most of the people who follow you guys don't even know you go to church.
Oh yeah. I mean,
which church do you fellowship with?
Christ Temple, ICGC.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So he's a worshipper, folks. Those of you asking, yeah, he's a worshipper. He believes in Christ, just like you do. And for the birth of your son,
yeah.
How long have you been married?
11 years.
11 years.
Yeah.
And how old is your son?
It's 3.
3. So it tells me that it took a while for your son to come.
Yeah, it did.
Now, do you think that was a miracle?
I believe so. I believe so. You know, for me, it's the whole process was. I mean, looking back, you just know that it was part of the design. The timing was perfect. It was the 7th year as well, and you know, if he had come earlier, you know, probably things would have gone well with us in marriage. You know how it is, where even when you have families who do not make you feel uncomfortable, those who do not put the pressure of, you know, tradition demands that, you know, you have to give birth and all those entrenched positions. People drop hints, and I mean, you get invited to go to outdoors and stuff, and so you're just reminded of the fact that they have their kids. And you know, some of my friends were, even a few people that I knew have been having children out of wedlock, and I'm like, look at them, we're doing everything right. I mean, we married right, we're everything right, and yet we're not blessed with one. And you know, but for me, I mean, it was a preparation that we needed a solid foundation to build on before the third person comes in, and which was my son. And if the structures were not really strong, if this guy came in, or if the child came in, he would take that attention, and those cracks will still be there, and it will only crumble. And so for me, it was a moment for us to really bond. Really, all those little habits that we brought into the relationship, you know, begin to prune them off and get better and better before we have this gift, because this gift is a responsibility. I mean, and the fact that we crave for kids, when they come, there's a huge responsibility that they demand of us, and they become priority immediately. And even the foundation and how we even build that is key to what the future would be for them. And so for me, it was a learning process. Sometimes we are quick to, you know, get into marriage, and quickly you want to give birth, and I think that take time off and bond. Take time, have fun, because when the kids come in, they take all the attention. So on the 7th year, you know, I had to believe that, you know, it was
just a perfect timing,
you know, and just by His word. And I mean, we prayed as we always do, but there was this belief that, you know, this was it, and it happened. And I see it as a miracle for us. You know, it's a blessing. Of course.
All right, so these are some of the few testimonies he's shared, and on the Damascus experience segment, this is how we want to make it look. So out there, if you are going through the same situation and you've been married, you're a young man, a young lady, you've been married for years and the baby isn't coming, his advice is that take your time and bond with your partner. Yeah. Okay, so back here again, how are you able to balance, you know, taking it live from your family life into your career?
That's right.
How are you able to balance the family life? Because we understand you're a very strong family man, you don't joke with it. So how do you balance that with people like Rabbi disturbing you here and there with,
you know,
scripts and up and down? How do you balance your that with your marriage?
Definitely, you have what I have is what I call an intentional timetable. And that is, you know, I have specific days or times that I will not take on any work, because there's a need for the life to be balanced, as well. And it's not all about, you know, going out there to make money, because even though the times are hard, you need that. But you also have to create that balance where the family setting is balanced and everything is going on, especially when there are kids around. And, you know, all too soon you realize that you're out there making money, and your kids are growing, your kid is growing, but that foundation, if you don't get it right, then you wouldn't become a mentor, you become somebody who would influence them. So for me, the days that, you know, I set off for, this is a family time, we do all sorts of stuff, visit friends, go out, you know, go a step out of the region and all that. Take the boy out to playgrounds and let's bond, you know, and so it's intentional. Otherwise, you know, you know how it is in our world today. And of course, I also have my days where I lecture and then movies. Of course, there are certain contracts that will take you away, but every time when I'm gone and I come back, I know that there are a couple of days that, you know, would just be sometimes just being home, being there, and, you know, and that's it.
Wow. For you, it's not difficult at all, because you have your intentional timetable.
Right.
So no matter the amount of the script, I mean, no matter the value of the script that comes to you, you would always choose.
Well, there's an exception.
Job and family.
There's an exception, because sometimes, you know, that has come in the way where, okay, maybe wifey wants something to do something and needs money. So I'm like, okay, so you're going to sacrifice me to go work and bring in the money so you can have it. Okay, then she goes, okay, let's sacrifice our time, go bring in the money. And of course, I'll make up for, you know. I mean, so sometimes we negotiate that, okay, so this is the nature of the thing. We have a project that we're looking at hand, and so I may have to sacrifice this timetable a bit, and we'll make it up, you know, some of the time. But there always has to be that conversation and dialogue before you know, you step out there.
Yeah. Wow, nice. So, but for you, a lot of people are saying not. I also know, and Rabbi here, she knows you're a nice guy. Honestly, you're a nice guy. Right from the days of things we do for love till now. I mean, you've maintained how your looks and everything. You look fabulous. You look good. You get pressure from women?
Oh yeah, I mean that's normal. It comes. I guess it comes with the industry, and I don't think that it's only limited to my industry. You know, the fact that you're always in the limelight, and the kind of medium that we have just projects you into people's spaces, personal spaces, etc. So, and sometimes people think that you're so perfect, you're a saint, and you know. Even the blood that runs through your veins is blue, is not red, you know. So they kind of give you so much attention, etc. And yeah, so you do get attention from all walks of life, and from the aged and the young.
How do you react to that?
You know, it's over the years. It's been a learning experience. You know, in the beginning when I was so naive, you know, it was like, respond to every message, you know, somebody sends you a smiley back, send it back, a text, send it back, you know, like just remain nice and be in everybody's good books, as it were. But, you know, sometimes you realize that you end up leading people on, And naive as I was then, I thought that, it's just a peg is harmless, but for a lady out there, it's like, oh, he gave me a peg, he must like me, and so forth and so on. And so I've learned along the times that you don't react to everything, and you watch what you say, because and just try to, as much as possible, draw the line between the work that you're doing and the feedback that you're getting. And so not all out there mean good, and as long as sometimes I even say no in a very nice way, but it's still no.
Oh, you're able to say no sometimes?
Oh yeah, but I do it very pretty.
How? Yeah, just tell us how you do it, so some of us can learn from you.
No, I mean, it's normally, my no is not to scream at you or it's a smile. I'm sorry, but no, you can do that. So I can come down, and it's still no,
Okay.
So a few people have tried all sorts of invites. Somebody will come up to say, look, I just want to act, I will do anything. I'm like, anything? Yes, anything. I just want to be there in the limelight. I'm like, and these are times where you have to be really careful, because you must know that for me the work is not just an income kind of thing. For me it's more like a ministry in a certain regard, that whatever you're doing there, you're touching lives, either positively or negatively, and what brings fulfillment, that somebody can smile, that somebody can take something home that will make a difference in their lives and transformation. And so even the choice of characters that I go in for in the storylines should have that element of, it's for the greater good, it's making an impact, and that's the way it's been. And so I don't forget that aspect of what I'm doing, and especially when you're mentoring young people, and back in church where I'm mostly with the youth. They come up to me every time with questions. I mean, I remember something we tell them, to stay away from crowds, you don't drink alcohol, blah blah blah. And then they take it for instance, they see. Then I get a contract, alcoholic beverage it's a huge contract, and you're like, oh, God has heard my prayers. Pray for a breakthrough, and there it comes, and it's alcoholic, and then I'm torn between need the money, and the timing is just right for it. It's like as if God has just prepared this contract for me
at the right time,
the perfect time. And then I think of, this kid's I go ahead, do the thing, and then Sunday I go to church and I'm like, Uncle Adjetey, you said we should drink, but we saw me drinking alcohol. You can't go to them and you can't explain and say that, when you are young you should do, but when you grow old, the visual impression on their minds is much stronger than the words you're saying. And so it wouldn't make sense to them. What they've seen is you drinking alcohol, and that's what you've asked them to stay away from. That will not change. They have then not trusted what you said, and that imprint is still there. And so I would ignore that contract. I'll step away from that contract, and so that I don't confuse young people. Because when I accepted to be a part of the facilitation, I also knew that there were consequences in misleading these young ones, and therefore I also have the responsibility to making sure that I don't what I say is what I do, and I don't tell them not to do this and do that. When you're mentoring these kids, and just like when you're raising kids, there are three things that you always do: is example, example, example. And so I stepped out of that contract, painfully as it was. But you see, the beauty of these is that when the motives are right, something comes up that it's much more bigger and more fulfilling, and you can't even place money on, and that's what happened, and it happened in ripples. And so, sometimes don't be afraid, and when especially when you have that conflict in your mind, that Charlie, some of them, they come in, it's free, that everything is right, but once that conflict comes in, think again. It's not always about the money, but for me, once again, how do you impact these young person, even if it's one person, as they say, even as one sinner who transforms and is saved,
heaven is exciting.
Exactly. So I don't forget these things as I go along.
How are you able to maintain this strong stand, and be very, very firm on it? How are you able to do that?
It's not my doing alone. Of course, definitely it's been a grace of God, but of course an understanding, right, from somebody who also understands the business in which I am in. And I want to encourage, all partners and couples out there that you have to show interest in your partner's or spouse's business. That may not be your field, but then understand what it takes. What do they mean when they talk about credit? What do they mean when they talk about collateral and all these things? Get a sense of what it takes for them when they go for meeting, blah blah blah. Even an opportunity for communication, to keep that thing going, and therefore having a debriefing session, etc. Because she understands marriage of work, she knows the challenges that comes with it, and therefore she's able to direct and also make suggestions, and that has helped. And sometimes, she's seen things far off and I have not even noticed. I'm like, oh, really? And then, boom, there it comes. I said, I told you. So it's more for the good. And so it just hasn't been me. I'll be a bit lie. Of course, some few friends out there who have probably walked ahead of me in terms of legends in the industry. I have also learned from other people's mistakes, etc. So, yeah.
So you intentionally decided to get some mentors ahead of you to look at
definitely
what they have done and to learn from them.
That's right.
It's very key. By the grace of God, he says it's number one, by the grace of God. And second, get some good mentors. Okay? I like your selections. You'll be a good DJ. Okay, so you notice depression is killing most of your colleagues, most of the stars, film,
that's right,
music.
Yeah.
Just name them, footballers. Depression is killing a lot of them.
Yeah.
Have you faced depression before?
No, not really. Not to the level of which the examples that we've seen.
Yeah.
No, I think that I went through a bit of that when we're so expectant. Miscarriages here and there, so that quite was depressing, but it wasn't to that level of really the heights that somebody can commit suicide, or the height that there'll be cause for alarm. I don't think so.
Yeah, but most of your colleagues go through this.
Right.
You are lucky to be married, to have a partner.
Right.
Most of them are single. Most of them, do not have this companionship,
right,
and so they resort to drugs. They resort to, I don't need to name them, what I'm talking about.
That's right.
No, so what would you say, what would you, as most of them are listening to you now, what would you tell them, man? How do you think they should deal with such situation in reality, in real life? Practical example of how they can be able to get out of this, because a lot of them don't know they don't know jack, whether they should go left or right.
Well, certainly, and the few words that I have to say is not from an expert, but of course, I think that there's certain basic things that you need to find out. What do you want? Where do you want to be? What are the things that will give you fulfillment? And I think that in trying to reach those things, people then become frustrated. They become stressed. But sometimes I always see life as you're in a place for a certain reason. Sometimes we go ahead of ourselves, wanting everything to happen in a certain time frame, our time frame, and that may not fit in the plan of God. And so the reason why you're in that place is because you were supposed to wait there for that guy to come and impact you, or you're there because that guy who is coming, you're supposed to impact that person. We're all in this works together. We're all in this kingdom to offer something and receive something. But if you're too much in a hurry, you will miss that opportunity. And so when we are in God's will, and you step out of God's will for something, you will keep that something and stay out of God's will. So remain in God's will, and that's why depression sets in, and then we're quick. Nobody loves us. Wait. Sometimes all we have to do is wait. Be patient. And so for especially for young people, and most of these things are happening to young people, mostly, I think that we're too much in a hurry. we're too much in a hurry. We want life to just happen quick, fast, short ways. And I've seen young people in some of my neighborhoods where they want fast shortcuts, to make it in life. The process is important, because in the process you're building a foundation. If you miss that and have a shortcut, you might have a beautiful edifice, but within a couple of years it crumbles because the foundation is weak. And that is why when even people are building and some of these masons and stuff are giving money, they want to buy the cheap products and save some money. You will have a beautiful edifice, but it will crumble down soon. The process builds us. So stay in the process. It requires patience, it requires time, but what you're forming is a solid foundation, so that when that big blessing comes your way, you are so prepared to handle it. Otherwise you'll be ill prepared. When that blessing comes so huge, it becomes so huge on you, you will now misuse it. And so sometimes it's even dangerous to even sometimes when people call for money, sometimes even giving them money may be a curse, because they are not prepared for how to even utilize that money. So let's not be in a hurry. Wait, build the foundation, stay in the process, and whatever comes, you can be firm and stand against it.
No, it's why? I mean, where's your wife? Is she in Ghana?
Yeah, she is.
You live together in Ghana?
Yeah, we do.
All these years?
Yes.
How come we don't see her?
Well, she rather, she loves to stay out of the limelight. It's enough that one person of the family is in the limelight, but she's just really more. She rather stays out of the limelight. She's a banker.
She's a banker.
Yeah.
So
it's.
You have a beautiful wife. You don't flaunt her on social media like your colleagues do. Why don't you do that?
It's probably. Is
it bad to do that?
No, it's not. I mean, it's not. I don't do that as consistent as maybe other people would do it. But I do that once in a while. If you check my records, you see that I do that once in a while. It is important as well to do that. Sometimes you need to feel them, make each other feel good, and also send a message out there to encourage other people that there's nothing wrong with stepping out with your spouse and letting them all know how good they are to you and the reason why you've made certain plans.
And you've been together for 7 years.
11.
11 years.
Yeah.
The 7 years was a waiting period. So you are in your 11th year now.
If my math is right, then we're now 12th year.
Your 12th year actually.
Okay.
Listen, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm saying congratulations strategically because others go in within 6 months and they are out.
That's right.
You have stayed in there with all the troubles. Women are troubles. Sorry, too. Sometimes women
I'm trouble.
They can be trouble.
I think this marriage I've been the most
I
trouble.
don't like the way Rabi just lifted her head and just took a good look at me for saying that. But you've been able to stay on for 12 solid years. Why do celebrities like you go into marriage and within a short period of time they are out of it? We've seen it countless number of times. If it's not even marriage, we are seeing them together courting, and we know, oh, Charlie, this is a good relationship. We are praying it ends well, and it falls on the rocks. Especially the movie and music guys.
Yeah.
Why is it so?
I think a number of factors. For me, I mean, one of them definitely that institution was not created by man; it's created by God. And so, if you're going into it, the foundation must be God, because that's His institution. And I think that the moment we leave Him out, then there's bound to be problems. It won't survive, no matter how we try. Even if it survives, then there's no joy, there's no happiness, and the reasons why marriage was set in place will not be fulfilled. I think that's one factor. The other is that we've become a world where we're not looking for substance anymore. As long as you can meet my needs, and that's it. But marriage goes beyond what he needs, and so we want to look at the outward appearance. We want to look at things that are, when there's an issue, how would the person react? What really is the death of whoever you want to work with? I think that we're also too quick to form relationships and not really study each other, find out the likes and the likes, and not quickly get into a relationship. It makes sense, so much sense when our old folks, we call them kolo, but there was a good reason why they would want you to wait, investigate, get to know this guy, where's he coming from, what the foundations are. It's so important, and we think that is cool, but it's not. And today people rush into so many things. And the movie that Rabi and I did, her movie Black Sheep, speaks to an aspect of it where a woman is living with this is a sociopath, but is not known to the husband, and these investigations are not really done in depth, and so he jumps into it because he thinks that he's in love with this girl, and then somewhere down the line this sociopath tendencies come up, and it's fatal for the rest of the family. And if time had been taken, to go through so many scenarios, I'm sure that symptoms would have, the warning signs would have been there, and it would have helped prevented some of the things that happened. So let's take our time.
Let's take our time. It's, for me, it's worrying. It's a bit worrying, and we are praying that yours will last. Heaven will have mercy on yours, that it will last, and remain in line.
Yeah, that's important.
So, but currently, I understand. What's your view about this? Since you're a very strong Christian actor, I want to pick your view on the National Cathedral. Now, government is actually going in for a national cathedral for the nation, and industry people think that creative arts has been left behind, and government is going for national cathedral as a priority. To you, Adjetey Annan, an actor, what does it mean to you?
It's a very sensitive subject for me, and the fact that I'm a Christian, I probably may tilt a bit to one side of the argument, but I'm also looking at a lot of other things, and find out whether we're balancing, we're creating a balance. For me, the building itself is not really what would make an impact on our lives. It's our own, like, look, you can build whatever, but if we don't change our attitudes, we don't change how we react and stuff like that, we're still working. It's just like the churches that we have. It's we are the people who need the change, not the beautiful edifices around. And so when you ask me, yes, it's a cathedral sounds good, solid. I know where in the Bible, God had to create this.
Solomon had to put up
precisely, and so yes, there's a need for that place of worship. But we do have other places of worship as well. But the point is that there's something that we need to do to ourselves as individuals and as a society, and that for me is where we need to work
paramount,
on. And that for me is paramount. And if examples should be set from all levels, not just governmental, but the home front, how even fathers relating to their spouses, the domestic issues, and how they've been mentors for their kids, etc. I think it goes way beyond just a cathedral, and whether we're balancing the skills, it's the other.
There's some alarming flags moving around your head that visiting the government, visiting the president, and all that.
Yeah, I mean,
what's up with that? Is something new coming up?
Well, we're really pushing, for them to really do their quota in creating an enabling working environment to support us, because over the years we've just dipped our hands into our pockets and produce our works, and we're saying that we need the enabling environment to help us sustain the industry, and also realize that this is a very, very economic viable industry, and so we're pushing them to put those things in place for us, and that's why you've been seeing us calling on the government on various levels, just so that they leave a mark before they go, and if there's going to be an incoming government, they also pick it up from there, because I think that we've been left for quite a long time to handle things our own. I think that when they come in with a legal framework, etc., most of the contests that we put out there will be guided, and therefore, in another way, we're also informing and educating society out there. Once our contests are guided and it has a legal backing, etc., people will not, be fed bad food, if you will, and that's why we're
Did you present a document?
we're working on documents, but we've presented a mini document, which will be, of course, you can't go for a first few meetings with everything loaded on them. Just give them the highlights, giving them a highlight, but we're now going to expand it. But they've been welcoming.
What has been the outcome?
Well, it's the engagement has tripled, and rather we have timelines as for them getting back to us. With what they would also want to do for us, and not just for us, but for the nation, because this industry is for us all. And so,
when does it will get back to you?
Well, some we are supposed to get back to them, others they are supposed to get back to us. So, I mean, definitely in the course of the month, we should have some feedback.
You sure you're going to have feedback?
Well, whether or not it comes, if it doesn't come, we keep pushing. That's what we can do. And of course, we also have our role to play. It's not to say that everything must be on the governmental level. We also have our issues that we need to deal with, disciplinary issues, how we also comport ourselves, etc. So there's a bit that we also have to do, but they should also do their part so that we work hand in hand.
What's your assessment of Madame Catherine Afiku's term of office? What's your assessment so far?
I think that she's on many levels that she's been very forceful. She's been very, very instrumental with respect to even some of the meetings that we've had, recent meetings that we have, the Minister of Finance, for example. Very forceful. She's just stood for us and pushing the agenda. I think that she's done a lot of work. I'd say that, of course, no matter what you do as an individual, some people will still have the negatives coming in there, but all in all, she's been very supportive, and we hope that she will not, that light will not dim. She will continue to back us. Yeah.
So for you, so far, it's good. It's been good.
It can be better, way better. I think it can be way better. I think that's something. The talk is too much. We just need the actuals, in there, and let's get the work done.
And congratulations, and African Magic Viewers' Choice Awards. We understand you swept home the actor
That's right.
of the year.
That's right.
That particular category with all those gurus in there. How was the feeling when your name was mentioned?
Yeah, it was really, really amazing. It wasn't something that I was looking forward to, because it's such a very difficult category to win, and also this AMVC thing is always mostly on votes, and Nigerians have the numbers elsewhere, and so it wasn't something that I was expecting, but when it came up, I was really.
Which project took you there? Which project?
I think I was nominated for two categories, for two movies, KTK and Side Chick Gang. But I think more of KTK.
Wow. Congratulations, my brother.
Thank you very much.
We understand now you are the highest paid actor in Ghana. No more, what's back?
Oh, really? I don't think so. I'm not thinking I'm the highest paid. I think that.
Oh, no, I mean, don't be afraid. The tax people, have they called you already?
Oh, no, they haven't. But of course, I mean, I'm with them. I'm siding with them. It's just that we have to do certain things in the right way, that's all.
So you are scared to mention the amount, else they might call you?
No, I don't have a fixed amount in that sense, because look, I teach at NAFTI. I know the issues that come up in NAFTI. Young people come out and they don't have any capital. You have to go in there and help them. KTK, I did that. Side I did that. And a lot of movies out there where you go in there, what can you offer, Charlie? I see that somebody has a good content that can make so much impact. And I go in there not charging them professional fees. And that's how I'm giving back. And so, whatever they have, and these are young guys coming in.
What's your threshold? How much do you charge? What's your threshold? If a producer wants to pick you on, what's your threshold?
Well, it depends. It's not. That's why I said it's not fixed. It depends on a number of factors. Because I need to know that if you're a Sparrow production, if you're a young person who's just coming to the business, it's your first time. So it changes the different levels. If it's an international, then you also have to. But I have a management who deal with those things. I don't bother my head with the figures at all. All I need to do is just get the work done and how to improve myself, on a daily basis.
Great. Rabi, let me invite Rabi in this conversation. You've just been started. No, you just remain there. Let Rabi come to the other side. Folks, so... And Rabbi, I'm going to ask you a very, very sensitive question. Please, don't walk out of my studio. Who is Rabbi?
Okay, so Ravi Prey is an actress. I'm an actress and a new movie producer. I'm also a real estate consultant.
Oh, okay. I hope the question wasn't offensive enough.
No, not at all.
Okay. Welcome to Hits FM. Adjetey, ma wo mo.
And you don't know why you're fair.
Also, who is Rabbi? And she's answered, anyway, so welcome to Hits FM.
Thank you so much, Frank.
And Black Sheep. Are you the producer of Black Sheep?
Yes, I'm the executive producer.
You are the executive producer.
Yes, please.
What did you see in this young man that you starred him in this amazing movie?
So I've always admired Adjetey Annan. He's been like a mentor from far away. His acting is great. I think he's a great personality, both in the industry and out of the industry. He's just amazing. His acting is on point, and he's very supportive as well. That's what I heard, and when I acted with him and worked with him, I noticed everything I heard is true. He's amazing.
Now, I put 3 or 4 boxes, put these oranges in there. Adjetey Annan, Majid Michel, John Dumelo, Yvonne Nelson. Pick one.
Adjetey Annan.
Why would you go for Adjetey Annan?
Well, like I said earlier, it's not just about his acting. I like him as a person. His personality is great, and obviously for the role I was looking for, he just fitted in perfectly. If I needed a woman, I would have chosen Yvonne Nelson, obviously, and not Adjetey Annan.
Adjetey,
Yes.
how does this come to you that currently most producers that I've spoken to will always want to choose you above Majid, Dumelo, and the likes? How does it feel? How does it come to you?
It's sometimes uncomfortable, you know.
Why do you feel uncomfortable? You've earned it.
Yeah, I know, but it really does place a kind of burden, if you will, for lack of a better word, because then it means that you really have to step it up every now and then. You know, you live in an industry whereby people would always direct people towards you. But how do you get better and better, and not repeating the same stuff and style? And so these are very, very, you know, huge names that you're mentioning in our industry. Some of which I admire very much. Majid is one of my favorites, if not my favorite. And so, you know, it's really when my name comes up, keep coming up, then probably I'm doing something extra as well. Probably not just artistically the movies are concerned, but also how we also carry ourselves out there is also key. And for me, my fans, I don't joke with my fans at all. Even when they're criticizing me, I want to look at it, you know, constructively, but, you know, because sometimes the communication may not be too good. I'll let them know that, oh yeah, because I'm, you know, diction should be bad, but I get your message. We'll work on it, etc. So it really does. It's just like a young person looking up to you. You're on your toes. You know, you're careful that the choice of words you use. You're careful what you do and where you find yourself, etc. So it's a huge burden.
End of discussion. Rabbi, where can we get this movie to have a look at?
Okay, so Black Sheep is still showing at Silverbird Cinema. Both Accra Mall and West Hill Mall is at 7:30 tonight. It's already started. And for tomorrow, Monday through to Friday, 6:10 p.m. you would have Black Sheep at the cinema.
You have to pay something small.
30 Ghana cedis.
Streets. Rabbi, leave some invite for my people, eh? They will come. Adjetey, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
God be with you. We pray that you maintain. You see, it's getting there, maintaining that status quo.
That's right.
We pray that you sustain it and God will keep. Don't forget God. We are proud of you. Don't forget God in everything you do. It's been a nice interview here with me and the man Adjetey Annan. It's been a nice expose. Next week, another big one is coming your way on the TIG show. My name is Frankie Five. Thanks to my team of producers, Gabby Angels on camera, Mario B on social media, Derek on the technical bench. Lady Tex, thanks a lot, and thank you to Rabbi for coming over to share your experience with Adjetey Annan. Thank you so much. And folks, when you stop to say a prayer tonight, don't forget to say one for me and my team. Next is Yard Settings with the man behind me, the 7-star Diamond General. He's here to take you, the root culture way. Okay, so stay right here till 10. All right, I'm out.